They rolled me into recovery at 10:03 a.m., the ceiling tiles ticking by like a metronome, and the first thing I noticed was the empty blue chair. The chair Daniel swore he'd warm while I went under at 6:40. My throat tasted like salt and metal. A plastic bracelet cut into my wrist. Evelyn May Carter. The nurse wrote "No family available" in a neat, unforgiving hand. Dr. Laird came around the curtain, soft Tennessee vowels, eyes kind the way a storm breaks. "Ms. Carter? Surgery went well." He said my whole name, May and all. He looked at the chair, then down at something draped over the IV pole. A camel trench coat, women's, size M, with a red dry cleaning tag that read, "Recovery 3B, Carter." "That isn't mine," I croaked. "I figured," he said. "Your family left in a hurry before pre-op. Your daughter-in-law? Put this here. My daughter-in-law. Marina with her whisper-thin eyebrows and loud perfume." My mouth dried further. "Did Daniel sign anything?" "Your consents were already on file." A muscle jumped in his jaw. "I remember your middle name from check-in. It matters that people are who they say they are." He handed me the coat like a question I hadn't studied for. The lining was satin, slippery with money. I slid my fingers into the pocket to anchor myself and touched paper, crisp, thick, and warm from skin. A bank slip, red-stamped, heavy with ink. First Peachtree Bank. Deposit, $85,000. Cash. Time, 8:11 a.m. My name stared back from the memo line. Property, Carter, 1120, Magnolia. A sting crawled up my scalp. At 8:11 a.m., I was asleep under a surgical light. Someone was awake at the bank. "Do you need me to call someone?" Dr. Laird asked. I swallowed. "Call me a cab." By the time I signed myself out at 11:26, the discharge sheet listed an emergency contact I'd never seen. Marina C., 404-550179. The number wasn't hers, not the one I had anyway. The nurse shifted. "They said you preferred to be independent." I walked to the curb in my socks, coat over my hospital gown like a held-back scream. Atlanta sun hit me flat. My phone pinged. A text from Marina. "We got tied up. Uber yourself. Keep receipts." I looked at the coat, the red tag with Carter, the bank slip thick as a bruise. I pressed the paper against my palm until the ink bled faintly, proof turning into a pulse. At my age, I don't shout. I document. But why was a stranger's coat tagged with my room number? If stories like this help you breathe, tap follow and tell us from Where Are You Walked? Subscribe to our channel. This helps our work reach more people. By afternoon, the anesthesia wore off like a slow apology. I sat at my kitchen table at 1120 Magnolia, the cherry wood scarred from a Thanksgiving fire in 2003, and set out everything I had. Discharge papers at 11:26 a.m., the coat, the slip-stamped $85,000, and a paper cup with 2 pain pills I refused to take. Pain sharpens dates and amounts. I dialed Daniel first, straight to voicemail. "Hey baby, surgery went fine. I'm home. Call me." I let the silence swallow the desperate part. I dialed Marina's usual number. It rang once, then clicked busy. So I dialed the emergency contact listed on my chart, 404-5555-0179, the number they gave the nurse. A man answered with the bored tone of a call center. "First Peachtree Mortgage Fraud Unit." I didn't breathe for 3 seconds. "Who gave you this number for me?" "Ma'am, did you receive a verification call today?" "At what time?" I pressed my thumb into the deposit slip until it made a crescent. "Between 8:05 and 8:12 a.m. regarding an equity line draw." "I was under anesthesia," I said, the words coming out level as a ledger. "Who approved it?" "I can't discuss without the authorized agent." He paused. "Your agent of record is Marina E. Carter." I closed my eyes. My middle name isn't E. It's May. I open the eyes I use for paperwork, not love. Spell my name as you have it. Evelyn E. Carter. "Wrong," I said softly, "and illegal." He shifted into script. "You have 30 days to dispute." 30 days. The clock clicked on, April 13th, Palm Sunday. I hung up and called Dr. Laird's office. "This is Evelyn May Carter, Recovery 3B. Could you email my pre-op and discharge timestamps? He didn't ask why. 10 minutes later, my printer coughed them out. Check-in 6:02 a.m. Anesthesia 6:40, surgery end 9:57, recovery 10:03. I circled 8:11 on the slip and drew an arrow to 6:40, 9:57. If a thing doesn't line up, it's a line someone drew crooked. At 6:15 p.m., Daniel finally called. "Ma, I'm sorry. Nia had a fever. Marina forgot her coat." "I have her coat," I said, "and a deposit slip with my address on it." Silence, then a careful, "You must be misreading. You know my middle name?" Another silence. "Let's talk tomorrow." "Tonight," I said. "Bring Marina." He didn't show. At 8:27 p.m., a text from Marina. "Don't make problems where there aren't any. We're family." Attached, a photo of Nia asleep, thumb in mouth, used like a shield. I saved it. I save everything. I opened the camel trench again. In the other pocket, my key pouch winked up at me, brass glint, red tassel, missing since last week. My house keys, my mailbox key, the tiny safe key my late husband Willie gave me in 1981. But who changed my emergency contact to a number I don't know? Sleep will not come. The kitchen clock clicks the way a judge's pen might, steady, unimpressed. I set a yellow legal pad in front of me and write today's date, March 14th, 2025. Under it, I list times and amounts the way I used to log absences at the high school. Check-in 6:02 a.m., anesthesia 6:40, deposit 8:11, recovery 10:03, discharge 11:26. Then I write names, Evelyn May Carter, not E. I underline May until the paper thins. Memory does not ask permission. It just sits down. August 9th, 1998. Daniel is 21, sweat purling at his hairline, body lean with young man nerves. He stands in my living room asking for help with a car loan. "I'll pay you back, Ma. First paycheck from the loading dock, I promise." He kisses my cheek, leaves a circle of cool air. I co-sign at First Peachtree Auto because a mother wants her son to arrive places with dignity. The first 3 months, a paper check slides into my mailbox with his big looping D. Then a missed month, an apology, then a move-in for a few weeks, and then my visa in his pocket to bridge a gap. This is how debt learns your pets' names and your holidays. The phone rings. Not Daniel, not Marina, Ruth. My sister's voice carries salt and scripture. "You out of surgery, Eve? Praise God. I can come sit." "I'm all right." I slide the trench coat farther from the stove. They didn't come. A pause. "That girl keeps him busy." Ruth clears her throat. "Don't stir what you can't finish." "Oh, I finish." I study the deposit slip again. Teller stamp T483, window 3, branch code PEA 12. Someone didn't hide her tracks. She assumed I wouldn't look. My mail slot claps like a small insult. I shuffle to the hallway and pick up a white envelope with the county seal. Property tax reminder, due April 15th. Inside, black type taps its foot. Balance, 2,146.72s. I put it under the deposit slip so they can humiliate each other. One is a mouth open, the other is a hand in it. I open the fridge, see the Sunday roast I marinated for a promise. Rosemary oil clings to my fingers. I take out a glass jar of dimes and quarters, Coinstar, December 2011, when Willie was laid off. He used to say, "May, we'll pay life in coins if we have to." I still have his tiny safe key, brass with a red tassel, the one that just winked at me from Marina's coat like a raccoon eye. I thumb the key until it warms. If she had my pouch long enough to pull the duplicate from the drawer, what else did she touch? At 9:43 p.m., I print my MyChart access. The portal shows emergency contact updated, 03:13:25, 7:52 p.m. Field entered by user mCol_ext. External user. Marina on my hospital login. My breath goes thin. Under legal documents on file, a PDF glows like a rattlesnake, durable power of attorney. Uploaded 03:13:25, 8:04 p.m. I click. My name is wrong in the second line. Evelyn E. Carter. The notary stamp is from a county 2 hours south, Bibb County, where we haven't had kin since 1976. The signature marked principal is my handwriting's evil twin. Close enough to insult, far enough to prove. Ruth is still on the phone, saying something about Palm Sunday ushers. I'm not listening. I'm reading the notary commission number and the expiration date. XP 05 2024. Lapsed, illegitimate. Eve, Ruth says. You there? I'm here, I say, and I'm counting. I reach for my pen and write in clean block letters across the top of the legal pad. 30 days to void. April 13th. The numbers sit like soldiers in a row. Beside them, I write the question that's older than the house and younger than my granddaughter. What did love sign me up for without my consent? But what else did she touch when she had my keys and my name? The coat and I stare at each other in the morning light, like X's at the DMV. March 15th, 2025, 7:18 a.m. The red dry cleaning tag whispers a business name I hadn't noticed last night. Peachtree Prime Cleaners, claim 4442. On the back, a note in blue pen. Pick up before Sunday. M. She left herself instructions in my recovery bay. Pride makes people sloppy. I set the tag beside the POA printout. The notary seal carries a number. I write it down. NC529 wait, then look at the expiration again. 05/2024. I may be retired, but I know a stale stamp when it tries to flex. I open my file cabinet, the second drawer labeled Legal, and pull out the 2017 notarized permission slip I kept for the school field trip to Stone Mountain. Notary NC50277, clear in county, unexpired at the time. I lay them side by side for the camera on my phone and take a photo for my folder, Fraud, Marina. At my age, the cloud is my quiet friend. The hospital portal shows a responsible party form uploaded at 8:06 p.m. on 0313 with an e-signature E. Carter. I zoom until the pixels confess. The capital E in Evelyn has a loop I've never made in my life. I know my own hand. I kept a ledger of kids' immunizations for 30 years. Simple doesn't mean blind, I murmur. Willie's mug still on the rack, chipped lip kissing the air. My phone chimes. A text from Daniel at 8:02 a.m. We can swing by after Nia's soccer, 11-ish. Don't accuse Marina, she's trying. Trying what, I think, then swallow the answer to save for later. Bring the coat, I reply. And bring the truth. I pour coffee. The landline rings, a woman's voice, crisp. Ms. Carter, this is Maya from First Peachtree Bank, Branch Peachtree and 12th. We received a callback request regarding a HELOC draw. Good morning, Maya, I say, like we're about to fold church bulletins. I need the verification audio from 8:05, 8:12 a.m., March 14th, and teller ID T483. I can't release audio without a formal fraud claim. Consider this formal, I say, and read the numbers to her like a prayer. Also, the POA on file uses a lapsed notary commission and the wrong middle initial. I will need your supervisor's name and the compliance fax. Pause. One moment. The hold music is a glockenspiel apology. She returns. Supervisor Kenji Alvarez, fax 404-555-0140. If you submit today, legal has 10 business days. 10 puts us at March 28th. I write it in my margin. Thank you. I'm polite even when I'm building the gallows. At 10:37 a.m., Daniel's car crunches the gravel. He shuffles in, Nia on his hip, Marina behind him in sunglasses, though the day is shy. I point to the table. Sit. Evelyn, Marina says, setting a bakery box down like tribute. We brought cinnamon rolls. I brought a coat back to its owner, I say, sliding the camel trench across the wood. Pockets lighter today? A tiny flinch. She covers it with a laugh. We must have mixed up outerwear. Hospitals are hectic. I lift the POA printout. Spell my middle name. She blinks. E. Try again. Evelyn. May? Her mouth makes the word like it's expensive. Daniel scrubs his face. Ma, please. She had your permission. I had anesthesia. I push the deposit slip forward so the red stamp glares. Who wrote my address on your cash deposit, Marina? Her gaze slides toward the bakery box. I notice the logo. Peachtree Prime Cleaners? They do pastry now? No. The receipt taped on the lid is a claim ticket. Drawer 442. The same number as the tag. I peel the tape, free the cleaner's receipt. Printed at the top, Customer, M. Cole. At the bottom, a blue signature loopy and rushed, Marina E. Carter. E, I say, tapping the initial with one fingernail. There she is again. Marina's smile curdles. If you keep this up, you won't see Nia for Easter. I lean in until my voice is the temperature of surgical steel. At my age, I don't shout. I document. Nia sighs in her sleep on Daniel's shoulder, unaware her grandmother is laying track for a train that will not stop. But whose hand signed Marina E. Carter on a cleaner's receipt dated minutes after my surgery began? Morning finds me where midnight left me, at the table with the coat, the slip, the wrong middle initial, and a legal pad that now has teeth. March 15th, 2025, 9:06 a.m. I dress slow, the way you dress for court, even if you're only going to a bank. Purse, folder, fraud, Marina, red pen, patience. First, Peachtree, and 12th smells like lemons and denial. I ask for Kenji Alvarez. He appears in a suit the color of wet asphalt, eyes careful. Miss Carter? Evelyn May Carter, I say, because names are locks. I place the deposit slip, $85,000, cash, 8:11 a.m., between us and line it up with the edge of his desk as if alignment can shame a system. He folds his hands. We have a power of attorney on file naming your agent with the wrong middle initial and a lapsed notary from Bibb County. I lay down my printout, circle NC 52918, exp. 5/2024, and tap the MyChart screenshot. Emergency contact updated 0313 7:52 p.m. by M. Cole XT. Kenji inhales through his nose. Our fraud unit needs an affidavit of forgery notarized, plus a copy of your ID, 10 business days from receipt to review. Meanwhile, the draw stands. How does theft accrue interest? I ask. He doesn't flinch. Your HELOC carries 8.5% APR, interest only minimum, 601.04 month on $85,000, first due April 5. I write it down, 601.04, April 5. Then I write property tax, $2,146.70, April 15th. I underline both until the paper bruises. And the verification audio from 8:05, 8:12 a.m.? Subpoena or internal request, he says. I can log the request today. He types, keys clacking like a slow confession. Reference case, Yosef P. 33219. When I stand, he leans in. Off the record. Most people your age get tired before the finish line. At my age, I tell him, I'm just a better finisher. Outside, 11:22 a.m. Atlanta air smells like fried dough and pollen, sticky, yellow, insistent. My phone pings, a text from Marina. Don't embarrass yourself at banks. We'll spot the tax. Just sign a reimbursement letter. A PDF attaches 3 lines of legalese that read like a leash. By accepting funds, I acknowledge Marina E. Carter as authorized agent. I save it into trash, we'll see, and keep walking. At 12:40 p.m., I stop by New Hope Baptist, slip into a back pew. The sanctuary is empty, wood glowing honey in the stained glass. I sit where the choir will sit on Palm Sunday, April 13th, and picture myself holding a manila envelope, fat with dates and amounts. I whisper my name to the rafters. Evelyn May Carter. My voice comes back steady. Steady has weight. At home, 2:03 p.m., the mail brings a thin accusation. HELOC change of contact. Agent, Marina E. Carter. Phone, 404-555-0179, the same number the hospital used. The page lists an alternate mailing address for statements, 1120 Magnolia, Atienne, M. E. Carter. They tried to steal my money and then send the thank you note to my house. I call Ruth. They want me tired. You were born stubborn, she says. You'll outstay them. I fill out the affidavit of forgery, print 2 copies, leave the signature blank until I can find a real notary on Monday. I also draft a letter to the county tax commissioner requesting a payment plan in case the bank drags its feet, because a smart woman prepares for every finish line. At 6:27 p.m., another ping. Daniel. We'll come Sunday for dinner. Don't talk money in front of Nia. Dinner's at 5 sharp, I reply. Bring the truth. Bring your eyes. My house has learned to listen for the sound of my pen. It hears me write one more line on the legal pad and draw a box around it. What did the teller see at 8:11 a.m. when my name walked in without me? But who stood at window 3 with my address in her mouth and my birth date on her tongue? Sunday, March 16th, 2025, 5 p.m. I set the table like a courtroom, plates centered, evidence folder on the sideboard, the camel trench hanging on the chair with the red tag facing the door. Peachtree Prime Cleaners, Nara 4/12. Rosemary chicken breathes from the oven. I choose Willie's old Motown playlist because truth needs a baseline. At 4:42, Marina texts, "Running late, Nia with my cousin. We'll swing by, quick." Quick doesn't eat, quick signs and leaves. 5:17. Daniel arrives alone, eyes tired, hands empty. He kisses my cheek and says, "Marina's picking up Nia. Then she can pick up her coat too," I say, nodding at the chair where it sits like a witness. I fix Daniel a plate because I'm not petty with food. While he chews, I slide an envelope across the table. Car insurance renewal, Daniel Carter, secondary owner, Evelyn M. Carter, address, 1120 Magnolia. My name is wrong again, and now it lives on a policy I never saw. He frowns. They must have carried over your old info from the BMW. From 1999? Or from a woman who uses my house as collateral when she needs to look stable? I tap the policy's effective date, 03/01/25. Who benefits when I'm listed as secondary owner on a car registered to a man with debt? It's a clerical. Clerical doesn't steal keys, I say. I open the trench's other pocket, lift my key pouch with the red tassel. I hold it up until the brass catches his eye. Clerical doesn't ride to the bank at 8:11 a.m. with a deposit slip that spells my address right and my middle name wrong. He pushes his plate away. "Ma, you're making this bigger than it is." "Bigger than $85,000? I pull out the affidavit of forgery. Notarized tomorrow. 10 business days to make wrong feel right. The door opens on her perfume, sweet, loud, like it wants applause. Marina glides in with a smile that halves the room. No Nia. A white bakery box dangles from her wrist again, ribboned neat. "Traffic," she offers. "Child," I say. "You're allergic to clocks." She sets the box on the counter, not the table. Different logo today. Magnolia Pharmacy. I tilt my head. "They sell cannoli now?" Her mouth ticks. "They do pick up for the bakery." She lifts the lid. More cinnamon rolls. Taped underneath is a pharmacy receipt for Plan B and children's acetaminophen, time-stamped 8:27 a.m., 3/14/25, paid cash, loyalty number ending 0179, the same digits as the fraud unit line. The receipt doesn't know it's a confession. "Busy morning," I say, letting the words rest between us. Bank at 8:11, pharmacy at 8:27, all while I was under a light. She slides her sunglasses up to the top of her head, eyes flat. "I take care of this family. You take care of optics." I hold up the cleaner's claim ticket, number 4412 from the coat, and the receipt with the same number taped under last time's box. "And you leave breadcrumbs like a woman who thinks grandmothers don't use the cloud." Daniel rubs the bridge of his nose. "Can we not do this here?" "Where else?" I ask. "In court? In church?" I take the HELOC notice from the mail, read, "Alternate mailing, Etienne M.E. Carter." I look up. "Which M.E. is that, Marina? Because my name is May." She leans forward, voice velvet over glass. "If you keep poking, I'll make sure you see Nia never." I sit back, breathe like I'm cooling a pie. I won't be blackmailed by babysitting. She smiles, small. "Who said anything about babysitting? We're adjusting custody time. Judges like stability? Paperwork?" I hear Willie in my ear. "Don't shout, May. Stack." I smooth the affidavit. "Dinner's boxed. You can take it to go." Then I add, conversational as weather, "I'll be at Peachtree Prime Cleaners when they open 7:30 a.m. tomorrow. Some businesses keep better cameras than consciences." Her smile cracks. Hairline. "Why would you—" "Claim ticket number 442, I say. "It's got a timestamp, too." She steadies herself on the back of a chair like the room swayed. "If you step into that cleaner tomorrow, I'll—" Monday, March 17th, 2025, 7:26 a.m. I'm parked outside Peachtree Prime Cleaners before the neon open blinks awake. The strip mall smells like wet asphalt and coffee. I keep the claim ticket, number 4412, in my palm till the paper warms, then tuck it under the deposit slip like a blade under a napkin. At 7:31, the bell tings, and I step into a room of steam and talc. A girl with silver hoops and a quick braid looks up. Her name tag says, Raquel. Morning. I set the tag down. This coat was hung in Recovery 3B on March 14th. I need the drop-off time and who picked it up. Raquel chews her lip. Pickups and drop-offs show on the POS. Cameras. Manager handles that. Then let's start with what we can see, she types. The printer coughs a narrow paper. Order number 4412. Customer, M. Cole. Drop, 03/13, 6:58 p.m. Notes, pick up before Sunday, M. Clerk, RC. She points to herself. I wrote that. Pick up? Not picked up yet, she says, eyes skipping to the coat on my arm. We didn't have it. She left it here 2 nights ago, then came back late Friday. Store was closed. We close at 7. So how did it get to a hospital room with my name? I ask. Raquel's gaze flickers to the door. Manager's here. Mr. Patel arrives with keys and policy in his pocket. No footage without police request. System overwrites every 24 hours. 48 hours have chewed March 14th to a rag. I feel the loss like a tooth I keep tonguing. Then you remember who tried your door Friday night? He shrugs. We were gone. Your lot got cameras? I nod through the front window to the high tin pole, sprouting domes like dark fruit. Those are property managers, he says. Gold Line properties across the lot. They keep 30 days. 30. My legal pad hums under my skin. 30 days to void. April 13th. I write Gold Line with my finger on the counter as if ink can catch. Outside, the sky opens on a thin rain. A security guard in a too-big jacket leans under the overhang, sipping from a paper cup. Deshawn stitched on his chest. I ask for Gold Line's office. He jerks his chin toward a glass door down from a nail salon, dark at this hour. 9 o'clock, he says. But the cameras face the lot and the storefronts. They'll have your timestamps if you got them. I have them, I say, touching the deposit. 8:11 a.m., the pharmacy. 8:27, the claim ticket. Deshawn's eyes land on the coat like it's a person who lies. Saw a tall woman in sunglasses trying Patel's door Friday, 7:22 p.m. She pounded, then put a bakery box on the handle and left. He laughs once. Who leaves pastries for empty rooms? People who need alibis with icing, I say. Did you see her plate? Partial, he says, thinking. Arby and something Georgia. A peach plate with the sticker RO225. I write the fragment on the back of my hand. You on duty Friday morning too? Off at 8, he says. But the day guy said same woman came back 7:55 a.m., walked to the pharmacy, talked to a man by the ATM, then left in a different car. Staging. I taste metal again. I thank him and drive to Gold Line anyway, only to find a laminated sign. Office closed, staff meeting, email only. I take a photo. Rain freckles the glass like static. By 10:12 a.m., I'm at Magnolia Pharmacy. The clerk blinks at my polite storm. Cameras record for loss prevention, she recites. Manager would need to receive a preservation letter, I say, sliding across a typed note with timestamps, 8:23, 8:35 a.m., 03:14, and my contact. Consider it received. She takes it like it's warm. Manager's in at noon. I step back into the rain with a paper that isn't a promise and a clock that won't slow. My phone buzzes. Daniel. Can't talk. Marina's upset you're harassing businesses. Tell Marina I'm asking for truth the way she asks for cash, I say to the air. He doesn't hear it. The call never opened. I sit in my car till the windshield fogs, staring at the coat, the red tag, the gap where camera footage should live. For a moment, tired looks seductive. Then my voicemail icon lights, a small gold coin in a poor man's palm. New message, Nurse S. Devine, 1:09 p.m., 03:14. But what exactly did Nurse Devine say when she called me at 1:09 p.m.? About the coat exchange? I play the voicemail twice at my kitchen table, pen clicking like a metronome. Nurse Sarah Devine, voice like starch and kindness. Ms. Carter, this is Nurse Devine from St. Luke's Recovery, just documenting. At approximately 9:58 a.m. on 3/14, your daughter-in-law left a camel coat labeled Recovery 3B, Carter on your IV pole, then stepped out to answer a call. She handed a small red tassel key pouch to a woman in a navy blazer by the vending machine, who then put it in the coat pocket. You were still under. Call me if you need the exact CCTV camera number. I pause the world on navy blazer. Not just Marina. An accomplice. I rewind and write the camera number she rattles off. CCTV R3B2. I save the audio in fraud, Marina, voicemail, and then call the hospital records desk. This is Evelyn May Carter, Recovery 3B. I need to request CCTV footage for 09:45:10:15 a.m. 03:14, camera R3B2, plus visitor log entries for Marina Cole. The clerk hums procedure. We need a HIPAA request and security approval. Email me both forms, I say, already opening a new folder called Hospital CCTV. Also, please confirm who changed my emergency contact on 03:13:7:52 p.m. She types. Entered by external user mcolext during pre-admit. I hang up and stare at my hands. I spent a career auditing immunization dates that kept children inside classrooms. Now I'm auditing my own name back into my life. At 11:58 a.m., I'm at Magnolia Pharmacy again, letter in hand. Manager, S. Whitcomb, hairline like a comma, eyes cautious. Preservation notice received, he says. We can burn 0820, 0840 on a USB if you bring a subpoena or we get a police incident number. Then you'll have both, I say. I step 2 doors down to the APD Zone 6 mini station and file an identity fraud report. The officer listens to my catalog, $85,000 cash deposit, 8:11 a.m., Plan B and children's acetaminophen, 8:27 a.m., wrong middle initial, lapsed notary. He prints a half page with incident number Z625111841 and a signature that looks like a heartbeat. You're good at this, he says. At my age, I tell him, I wasn't the loudest. I had dates and amounts. Back at the pharmacy, Whitcomb takes the paper like communion. Give me till tomorrow, 3 p.m. Cameras aisle 2. Register 1 faces the door. Aisle 4 catches the ATM. We'll pull both. Stakes don't wait for videographers. When I get home, there's a pastel envelope on my mat from New Hope Baptist, Palm Sunday choir rehearsal, April 6th, 6 p.m. I hold it and see a sanctuary breathing and a microphone glinting like a witness. Public space turns truth into something with legs. My phone rings. Maya at First Peachtree, the bank voice says, hushed. Your case, Arjter FP 33219, is in review. Compliance flagged your notary. Off the record, I logged the verification audio request as urgent. File name starts with VER 031425 809. 809, I repeat, knowing 85812 is my window. That's the call where someone read my birth date wrong. Her breath catches. You didn't hear that from me. I didn't, I say, and mean it. I heard it from the future tense of justice. At 4:10 p.m., Ruth drops by with a pound cake and her raised eyebrow. I show her the voicemail, the police incident, the pharmacy pull. She sucks her teeth. Girl, you building a staircase to heaven. I'm building a manila envelope, I say, and I add USB, Magnolia Pharmacy, due Mar 18, 3 p.m. to my list. Next to it, I write Gold Line, lot cams, call again. I'm collecting N1 contradictions, N2 documents, and I can smell N3 images coming. At 6:22 p.m., have you been through something similar? Tell us your story in the comments below. We read every comment. It's important for us to know we're not alone. Daniel texts a picture of Nia holding a soccer trophy, eyes gummy with pride. My heart knocks. Then the second text, please stop dragging Marina. She's family. I type and delete 3 replies. Finally, family doesn't erase a middle name. I print a fresh label for a new red folder. May, 3 letters that anchor me to the ground. When I open my email that night, a subject line waits like a door already unlocked. Audio, verification line, internal ref, ver 031425 0809 ALV, from Kenji Alvarez. But whose voice will stumble over my birthday when I press play on the bank's verification recording? Tuesday, March 18th, 2025, 9:12 a.m. I put on my readers, close the kitchen blinds against the morning, and open VER 034250809 ALV.mp3. I press play. A sterile chime, then a woman pretending to be me. This is Evelyn E. Carter, she says, the E landing like a dropped fork, the banker's voice, male, patient. For security, please state your full name, date of birth, and mother's maiden name. She breathes. Evelyn E. Carter, January 7th, 1959. My birthday is January 07th, 1959, but she says it 1759, not the way I've said it for 66 years. 070159. Then, maiden name Turner. Correct, but the cadence is wrong. She learned facts, not rhythm. The banker. And the property address? She doesn't hesitate. 1120, Magnolia Ave, Atlanta 3314. Paper rattles, keys click. We have a $85,000 draw request. Are you authorizing your agent to transact on your behalf? Yes, she says. Marina E. Carter is my authorized agent. Final verification, callback number. She gives 404-555-0179, the fraud unit line. Bold because she assumes no one will ever listen back. I pause, rewind, write down timestamps and phrases. I play it again, this time not as a mother, but as a registrar who knows signatures and attendance and the sound kids make when they lie. I open Word, type a transcript, mark each misstep. I print 2 copies, staple them clean. I also print the call metadata Kenji slipped in the footer. Agent, K. Alvarez. Branch, PEA 12. Tape length, 0211. Caller ID, 404-5555-0193. Not Marina's cell. A VoIP mask? I underline 0193 at 2:47 p.m. I stand inside Magnolia Pharmacy while Manager Whitcomb hands me a USB in a manila sleeve. Aisle 2, Register 1, and Aisle 4, ATM, both labeled 0314, 0820, 0840. We plug it into his office screen. There she is at 8.27. Marina, sunglasses, camel coat over her arm, sliding cash across the counter for Plan B and children's acetaminophen. Behind her, a woman in a navy blazer, the same description as Nurse Divine's voicemail, stands at the ATM, face turned just enough for the camera to catch a profile and a birthmark near the jaw. Marina glances back to the ATM and lifts her phone, the screen bright with a green call icon. A minute later she leaves, passes directly under Aisle 2, Register 1. The coat tag flaps, red like a flag. Whitcomb pauses the frame. You want a still? I want 3, I say. He prints them. Euro weight 27 to 13, euro weight 28, euro 6, 0 weight 29 to 42. He signs the back with date, time, camera, his neat hand making them courtroom ready. When I get home, I tape the stills to my legal pad. Then I call APD, give incident, Eager Z6 25 111841, and add new media to the file. The officer on the line whistles. That's N3 quality, he says, not knowing he's speaking my staircase language. At 5:33 p.m., I email Kenji the transcript and ask for the WAV instead of MP3 for clarity. He replies 5:41 with a link, ver 0314250809.wav and a single line. Off record. The caller misread DOB cadence, noted. I pour tea and watch the sun collapse behind the pecan tree. My phone buzzes. Marina, you've harassed enough people. Drop the police report or we'll file for guardianship based on cognitive concerns after your surgery. I take a breath that reaches the soles of my feet. Then I forward her text to myself. Subject line, Exhibit, Threat. I print it. Toner bites the page black. Night settles. I open the WAV once more and listen to the E in my name clatter on the table. Then I email Pastor Green at New Hope. Request to address the congregation on Palm Sunday as a testimony regarding elder fraud. He replies at 9:12 p.m. Sister Carter, we protect our own. You'll have 3 minutes before the choir. 3 minutes is a lifetime if you measure in dates and amounts. But when I stand up and say May, who in that sanctuary will suddenly realize they've been using the wrong initial to steal my life? Wednesday, March 19th, 2025, 6:40 a.m. I lay out the tools of a quiet war. 2 manila envelopes, a USB, 3 stills, a transcript, the affidavit of forgery waiting for ink, and a $12 digital recorder I bought at Dollar Tech on Auburn Ave. I label the envelopes private, kitchen and public, church. I move like a baker before dawn, measuring, stacking, timing. At 9 a.m., I sit in Notary and Mailbox, LLC, the kind of strip mall office where secrets go to wear stamps. Ms. Tran checks my ID, watches my pen. I sign the affidavit and an accompanying preservation letter to St. Luke's Security for CCTV R3B2. She seals both with a fresh commission stamp, NC 88821 XP 11 2028. I scan the pages into fraud, Marina, notarized, and mail duplicates certified, return receipt to First Peachtree Compliance, St. Luke's Security, and Gold Line Properties. Receipts slap the counter. 7/19, 1640, 002, 9932, 1101, 1102, 1103. I line them up like vertebrae. At 11:15 a.m., Gold Line finally answers. A woman named Ariadne, I like a name with a maze in it, confirms their lot cams, retain 30 days, and agrees to pull 0314, 0740 or 0840, and 0314, 19 or 20 euro. Pick up by Friday, she says. I hear a printer in the background like footsteps approaching. I text Ruth, Palm Sunday, I'll speak. Sit third pew, aisle. She sends back a row of palm leaf emojis like she's younger than both of us. At 1:02 p.m., I email Dr. Laird. Would you provide a brief note confirming you verified my identity at pre-op on 0314 by full name including May? He replies 117 with hospital letterhead. I personally addressed the patient as Evelyn May Carter at check-in and recovery on 03/14/25. Discharge noted, no family available. R. Laird, MD. I print 3 copies. Doctors don't do poetry, but this is better. Prose that testifies. Afternoon, I clean my kitchen like a stagehand hiding wires. I set recorder on under a potholder where Marina likes to prop her handbag. I rehearse confrontation 1 in my head. Inconsistency, document, question, wait. The private envelope gets bank transcript, WAV on USB #1, pharmacy stills, doctor. Laird's note and a blank restitution agreement with 2 lines, $85,000 repayment by cashier's check and written apology to be read aloud at New Hope. The public envelope gets USB #2 with just the WAV and 1 still, plus a cover sheet. My name is May. At 4:50 p.m., Daniel texts, we're stopping by 6-ish, 10 minutes. 10 minutes is how long a lie can pretend to be truth if no one speaks. I set the table with no food this time, just water glasses and 2 pens. I put the camel coat on the chair closest to the door. Let it watch. They arrive at 6:11, punctual like fear. Marina in navy, no blazer today, a sweater soft as deceit. Daniel looks like the apology he won't make. I gesture to the chairs. I don't offer cinnamon rolls. Before you start, Marina says, sliding her phone face down, have your little bank friends stopped harassing us. I fold my hands. I have something you should hear. I click play on the WAV from the recorder. A woman's voice fills my kitchen. This is Evelyn E. Carter, 1759. The room goes smaller, as if it's breathing in. Daniel blinks slow. Marina? She smiles without teeth. Plenty of folks say their birthday's different. I place Dr. Laird's note on the table like a communion wafer. He said May. The bank tape says E. Which one did you carry into the branch? Her eyes flick to the door. I'm not discussing anything without representation. Then you'll love what comes next, I say, sliding the restitution agreement across, my pen parked on top like a quiet dare. Read carefully. Dates and amounts are correct. The house holds its breath, listening for a signature that may never land. But when she reaches for the pen, will it be to sign, or to try to snatch the envelope marked public before Sunday finds a microphone? The pen sits between us like a small silver truce. Wednesday, March 19th, 2025, 6:14 p.m. My recorder blinks once every second, tucked under the potholder where Marina nested her handbag. Daniel's knee jogs under the table. The sound matches the light. Read it, I say, pointing to the restitution agreement. $85,000 cashier's check by March 28th. Apology read at New Hope on April 13th. You have 10 business days, the same mercy the bank gave me with case NAR FP 33219. Marina taps the paper. This isn't how families solve things. You're right, I say. Families bring soup after surgery. They don't update emergency contacts to 404-555-0179 and walk my key pouch to a woman in a navy blazer by CCTV R3B2. Her face snips into angles. Who told you that? Nurse Sarah Devine at 1:09 p.m., March 14th, I answer, watching the words hit. She left a voicemail. I saved it. Would you like to hear yourself leaving the coat while my anesthesiologist was still charting? Daniel closes his eyes. Ma, please. I hand him Dr. Laird's letter. I personally addressed the patient as Evelyn May Carter at check-in and recovery on 03-14-25. He scans it, throat working. May, he whispers, as if the syllable just came home. Your wife prefers E, I say, sliding across the bank transcript. Listen, 1759. No one who has sat across my birthday cake says it like that. Marina leans back, calculates. Maybe I made the call to help. You were groggy. You asked me to handle finances after the gallbladder. I went under at 6:40 a.m. Your deposit hit at 8:11. Your Plan B and children's acetaminophen rang at 8:27. I hold up a pharmacy still time-stamped 08-27-13. In the corner, the navy blazer woman stands at the ATM with a jaw birthmark like a thumbprint. And this is your accomplice. Coincidence, she says, but softer now. Lots of women wear navy. I slide over a new printout, my chart log showing legal documents on file, durable power of attorney, uploaded 03-13-8:04 p.m., and emergency contact updated 7:52 p.m. by M. Cole Ext. I point to the notary, NC 52918, XP 05-2024. A lapsed stamp is a drunk witness. Marina's tongue touches her canine, a cat testing a fence. Even if there were mistakes, you'll never prove intent. Intent doesn't matter when $85,000 leaves a line of credit with my house stapled to it, I say. I pull the cleaner's claim ticket number 44 and 12 from under the coat's lapel and the matching receipt she carelessly taped to a bakery box. Your initials, Marina E. Carter, are a breadcrumb you left because you thought grandmothers can't read. Daniel lowers his head. Marina, did you use Mom's HELOC? Silence drills down to the bone. She opens and closes her mouth once. We were behind, she says finally. The BMW needs work. Nia's summer camp deposit is due. Your probation fees. She flinches at her own confession, looks at me like it's my fault she spoke. We were going to put it back. So sign, I say, tapping the line under $85,000. Put it back. Her gaze slides to the envelope on the sideboard marked Public, Church. What's in that? The thing you fear, clarity. She smiles without humor. You think you'll stand up in front of New Hope and sway them with pity? I've already drafted an email to the pastor about cognitive decline after anesthesia. We'll file for guardianship if you embarrass us. Judges like stability. Stability spelled M-E? I ask, voice low. Spell my name. She stares. Evelyn, E. Wrong house, I say. I cap my pen. You have until March 28th, or we let the sanctuary choose between a May and an E. Her hand lands on the pen, then snatches back like it burned. She stands. You won't do it. I walk her to the door, lift the camel trench from its chair, and hang it on her arm like a sentence. On April 13th, I press play. I shut the door softly, then slide the private envelope into the freezer, under the pound cake, because cold keeps things honest. But when I step to that pulpit with a manila envelope, will Daniel stand beside me or beside the woman who tried to rename me for cash? Palm Sunday, April 13th, 2025, 10:42 a.m. The sanctuary smells like palm fronds and starch. Children wave green fans. Mothers pinch collars flat. I sit on the third pew, aisle, Ruth at my elbow, manila envelope on my lap, weight equal to a newborn truth. The choir hums. Pastor Green nods my way. "Church," he says, voice warm as a quilt. "Sister Evelyn has a testimony about protecting our elders. You will give her your ears." I stand. 66 years creak in my knees, but my name walks straight. "My name is Evelyn May Carter," I say into the microphone that has held 1,000 hymns. "Not E. May." I turn to the congregation of faces I have fed and folded bulletins beside since 1991. On March 14th, at 6:40 a.m., I went under for surgery. By 8:11, $85,000 cash left my home equity line. Agent of record, Marina E. Carter. A murmur ripples like a wind through palms. I hold up a still, 08-27.13 at Magnolia Pharmacy. Marina with a camel coat and a red tag flapping Recovery 3B. Carter. Behind her, the navy blazer woman at the ATM. I pass the still to Usher Deacon Leon, who holds it up for the side aisles. Hospital CCTV R3B2 shows a red tassel key pouch moving from my IV pole to that coat, I continue. The POA uploaded 03/13/8:04 p.m. uses a lapsed notary and the wrong middle initial. My doctor addressed me by my full name, Evelyn May Carter, before and after surgery. I nod to Deacon Leon. He carries the public USB to the AV booth. The sanctuary hushes like a held breath. On the screens, white letters, Verzo 314250809. I raise the microphone half an inch. Please listen for the way a thief says a birthday. The verification audio rolls. This is Evelyn E. Carter, 1759. A soft gasp trembles across the pews. Those who know my birthday the way they know their own children's names. The banker's voice asks the property address. The woman answers without blinking. Then, "Authorize your agent?" And, "Yes, Marina E. Carter." When the audio stops, the church is a courtroom with stained glass. Pastor Green steps forward, face carved from concern. "Sister?" I breathe, set down my envelope, and lift my chin. I am asking for two things. 1. The return of $85,000 by March 28th came and went. It did not arrive. 2. I want my name respected in this house and no retaliation when I choose to protect myself. If you receive emails about my cognitive decline, please note, I am 66 and I keep receipts. A commotion at the side aisle. Daniel rises, pale, Marina tugging his sleeve. She wears navy like a dare. "Pastor," she calls, smile bright and high. "This is a misunderstanding. Evelyn agreed to let us manage the finances. She forgets." I lift Dr. Laird's letter. He remembered me with May. I remember me with dates and amounts. Ruth squeezes my hand. I step aside so the screen can replay the crucial 12 seconds, the stumble over E, the wrong cadence on my DOB. Sister Jolene in the soprano row shakes her head, tears balancing on lower lashes. Usher Leon folds his arms like a verdict. Pastor Green clears his throat. "Brother Daniel, Sister Marina, would you care to respond? In the truth?" Daniel looks at me, then at the screen. He swallows so hard I can hear it at the third pew. "Ma," he says into the second microphone, voice rough. I didn't know about the call. I thought we were borrowing." Marina's nails bite his wrist. I hold his eyes. Borrowing tells the lender. Stealing tells the teller. A rustle behind me. 2 officers in plain clothes step in near the back. APD Zone 6. Not for cuffs, but for statements. I had called earlier with incident RZ 625-18841. Asked them to attend for community safety. Their presence turns air heavier. I don't gloat. I place the microphone back in its clip like a fragile cup. "My name is May," I say one last time. But when the offering plates pass and the benediction lands, whose hand will reach for me? My son's in repentance or Marina's in one last public lie? Palm fronds still shed on the carpet when the benediction folds the morning closed. I'm at the edge of the third pew, envelope lighter, knees looser. APD Zone 6 officers wait by the lobby bulletin board under a flyer for the April 20th potluck. Pastor Green asks Daniel and Marina to join us in the small conference room, the one with the long table where we plan homecomings and funerals. The church secretary brings water. Truth dries throats. "State your names," the taller officer says, pen ready. Body cam, red light blinking like a small heart. I spell mine. EVELYNMAE. I add, incident, Euro Z625 11841. I slide the pharmacy stills, a copy of the WAV on USB number 3 and Dr. Laird's letter. I give the officer the gold line contact, Ariadne, and the certified mail receipts I lined up like vertebrae. He whistles, low. "You built yourself a courthouse." "We built a church," I say. "Court happens when people forget the vows." Marina chooses a smile that used to work. "Officer, we can settle this privately." She's confused. "Spell her middle name," I cut in. She stares at the window. No sound. Daniel's voice cracks. "May." He folds his hands until the knuckles go chalk. "Officer, I'll cooperate." The shorter officer asks, "Ms. Cole, where were you 3:14, 8:11 a.m.? "Driving my daughter to school," she says too fast. The officer flips his notebook. "But APS elementary bells do not ring at 8:11 on Fridays. Car lines clear by 7:50. I have a child," he adds gently. "Time tells on us." I let the quiet sit until it weighs something. Then Pastor lays a hand on my shoulder, the way he's laid hands on 100 shoulders. "We will pray for truth and for restitution," he says. "And we will protect Sister Evelyn from retaliation." Ruth waits outside the door like a deacon with a pocketbook. "I fixed plates for you," she tells me. The choir is buzzing like a beehive. By 12:37 p.m., church is out, and Atlanta is hungry. I hear later, because life is a town crier, that at Brunchery on Edgewood, Marina orders avocado toast and a mimosa and slides her card like a dagger. The waiter returns with a tilt to his head. Declined. Twice. Then she tries a backup card. Same ballet, same bow. Daniel fishes his wallet out with a tremble, pays the bill, leaves no tip because shame eats percentages. The restaurant door closes behind them, and the son does not care. At 4:09 p.m., my email pings, First Peachtree Compliance. Subject, Provisional Credit. Case, HOT FP 33219. I open it at my kitchen table between a plate of Ruth's deviled eggs and the red MAE folder. Effective 04/14, account will receive a provisional credit of $85,000 pending final determination. Account access for agent Marina E. Carter revoked. POA voided for lapsed commission. Verification audio flagged for anomalous cadence and external callback routing, 404-555-0179. I let my head fall into my hands. I don't cry. I file. The landline rings. Kenji. "Off record," he says, voice softer. "We're moving this fast. The WAV did it. Also, Goldline sent stills from Friday, 7:22 p.m. Woman in sunglasses pounding the cleaner's door with a bakery box in hand. We've forwarded to APD. I thank him and write one more line on my legal pad. When people steal, they also perform. Evening draws with long fingers. A text from Daniel arrives at 7:11 p.m. "Can I come by alone?" I stare at the question until it trembles into a boy at 21 asking for a car note. I reply, "Come tomorrow 10 a.m. Bring your honesty." I wash the dinner plates in slow circles. The house breathes with me. Ruth leaves with her empty cake pan and a look that says, "Finish strong." I dry my hands and pin Palm Sunday's church bulletin above the desk. Dates and amounts I write under it. Then, names. But when Daniel knocks tomorrow at 10, will he bring a cashier's check or the last excuse he owns? Monday, April 14th, 2025, 9:58 a.m. I'm dressed in the kind of resolve that buttons from the top down. On the table, provisional credit notice, affidavit, new POA draft in my own hand with Ruth named secondary, locksmith brochure with $189 Reiki special, and a copy of the county tax payment plan because April 15th waits for no woman. Daniel knocks at 10:02. He holds nothing in his hands, no flowers, no plastic bag from the bank, just the look of a man who has realized the house he lives in is smaller than the mother who built him. "Ma," he says, and sits where the camel coat once sat like a witness. "You have a mouth," I say. "Use it." He swallows. "I didn't know the call. I knew about the draw. I told myself it was borrowing." Marina said you'd co-signed 100 things for me before, that this was no different. He rubs his thumb into his palm. Probation fees stacked, $1,200 since January. The BMW needed a transmission, $3,800. Nia's camp, $650 deposit due April 1st. I told myself we'd fix it by tax time, then the card. He shakes his head, laughter without joy. The card taught me math. I slide the provisional credit across. The bank closed your agent access. They'll finish their math soon. Meanwhile, I will pay my property tax tomorrow, with or without their timetable. I've requested a payment plan to keep it honest. He nods, eyes wet. He pulls a folded paper from his back pocket. Not a check. A handwritten apology? He hands it over. I authorize removal of my name as secondary on any policies, accounts linked to 1120 Magnolia. Signed, Daniel J. Carter. Dated 04/14/25. He's shaking. I'll go to DMV today for the car. I'll call Allied Insurance. I'll sell the BMW. Good, I say. You will also choose wife first or truth first. I won't compete with a lie. He drops his head. I choose truth. We leave it there because words wear thin under too much rubbing. I make coffee. While it drips, the locksmith van pulls up. Ace Riki. A man named Hector changes the locks in 32 minutes flat. I hand him $180 and a slice of Ruth's pound cake. He hands me 4 new keys and a receipt with April 14th, 12:01 p.m., stamped like a seal. I retire the old key pouch, tuck the tiny safe key into a new leather sleeve the color of good soil. At 1:34 p.m., my email dings, St. Luke's Security. CCTV R3B2 export attached, 095833 1004.01. Shows coat tagged Recovery 3B, Carter, woman in navy blazer accepting red tassel key pouch from female later identified as Marina Cole. They don't send faces, just time. Time is enough. N3 becomes N4 when the story lines up on 2 screens at once. Ruth arrives at 2:10 with new curtains and a grin. I like women who change locks and laws in the same afternoon, she says, then signs the new POA as my secondary, Ms. Tran having promised to stamp it tomorrow with her NC 8821 like a little thunder. At 4:45 p.m., Goldline emails stills of Friday, 7:22 p.m. Marina pounding the cleaner's door with a bakery box. Saturday, 7:55 a.m. The navy blazer woman meeting her at the lot, car plate clipped but clear enough for RBY, and a blurry 9. APD adds them to the file. The taller officer texts, "Thank you, Ms. Carter," building the ladder. I breathe the way you breathe when someone loosens a tight dress in the back. Night leans in. I make a plan for April 15th, Tax Commissioner's Office, Window B, check number 1016, $2,146.72. Mine to pay because even provisional credit needs a sunrise to clear. Daniel stands to go, wipes his face. Nia asked if she can come plant flowers with you this weekend. Yes, I say, and something in the house sighs like an old hymn. But when Marina receives the bank's final letter and the APD's charge sheet, will she run or ring my doorbell with the last performance she's got? Tuesday, April 15th, 2025, 9:07 a.m. The tax commissioner's office smells like toner and nerves. I stand at window B in my church suit and say my name slowly. Evelyn May Carter. The clerk prints a bill that has tried so hard to become a threat. $2,146.72. I write check number 1016, feel the drag of pen on paper like stitching skin. The clerk stamps paid 04/15/25 9:12 a.m. I slide the receipt into the MAE folder. Taxes are not feelings. They are lines and I can carry lines. Home. The yard waits like a patient child. Nia arrives in pink sneakers, hair in 2 puffs that look like punctuation. Daniel walks her up the path and stops at the gate like a man who knows the rules. I'll be back at 12, he says. We plant the white camellia Willie always talked about, a 3-gallon from Grant Park Nursery, 42.99s. Nia pats the soil with small hands. Why this flower, Nana? Because it blooms when most things are tired, I say. We drink lemonade on the steps. The sun frets the pecan leaves. A jay scolds the world. The house settles into a future without footnotes. At 11:03 a.m., the mail truck dares my driveway. I pull 2 envelopes. First, Peachtree, Final Determination and APD, Case Update. Inside the bank letter, we have concluded our investigation. $85,000 draw reversed. Account reissued with new number. Agent Marina E. Carter, permanently barred. We apologize for inconvenience. I let the sentence sit like a slice of pound cake. Sweet, dense, earned. The APD letter is less sweet, more bone. Charges recommended to DA Identity Fraud OCGA. Paragraph 16, 9, 121. Forgery, second degree. Paragraph 16, 9 toward 2. Financial transaction card fraud. Paragraph 16, 9 toward 33. Pending. Requesting interview with subject identified as Marina Cole and person of interest, Navy Blazer, believed to be Angela Pierce, former notary, Commission NC 5298, XBIN 05 Tofron 2024. I exhale a name I didn't know I'd been holding. Angela. Every scheme has a helper with a lapsed stamp and a good jacket. Doorbell. A chime that used to sing ordinary afternoons. Marina stands on my porch in a camel trench, chin high, eyes lit with the last performance. She holds an envelope. The cheap kind. Real money is cashier's paper. Sign this, she says. Statement that you won't testify. For Daniel, for Nia. Children don't protect adults, I say. Adults protect children. She smiles, a small knife. You think a church protects you? The world belongs to people who move fast. I move with dates and amounts, I say. I hold up the bank letter. And with letters. Then the APD paper. And laws. I step onto the porch and lower my voice so the camellia hears me. Spell my middle name. She swallows nothing. The performance ends. I reach into the MAE folder, pull a single sheet. No trespass notice I had Hector print for me. Fill in 04-1525, draw my name with the pen that has followed me through every battle. I hand it to her with a copy of the charges. You will not come here without notice. If you need to speak, you will speak to APD or Kenji or God. Her mouth opens, closes, opens. Nothing. She turns, walks down my steps, heels clicking like a clock that just realized it's late. At the curb, she fumbles keys, drops them, curses, climbs into a car that needs a new life. I close the door, slide the deadbolt Hector installed yesterday. The house gives a pleased little hum. Nia runs in with a dirt mustache and a daisy. Nana, we named the camellia May, okay? Okay, I say, throat thick. May keeps receipts. Late afternoon, I sit at the kitchen table and open a fresh red folder labeled Legacy. I place inside Dr. Laird's note, Palm Sunday Bulletin, 1 pharmacy still, the final bank letter, a photo of Nia holding the trowel. I write on a sticky note. At my age, I don't shout, I document. I stick it to the inside cover like a blessing. When the sun drops, I slip on my sweater and step outside. The camellia catches the last light, petals like folded lace. I touch the soil, cool and sure. Somewhere, a siren wails, and then fades. Somewhere, a desk clerk stamps a paper that will change someone's mind. Here, my name sits where I put it. May, in red, in order. But when Nia asks me one day how I kept my house and my name, will I tell her about the coat, or will I hand her the folder and let the paper speak? If this story gave you strength, help us by sharing, liking, and hitting the notification bell. We'd love to hear in the comments which part of the story you liked most. See you tomorrow.